Chosen one, listen carefully. This is your moment. The noise around you has been silenced so that heaven can speak directly to your spirit. You did not arrive here by coincidence. You were led here, step by step, by the unseen hand of God. And now, the door that felt locked for years is beginning to open. A shocking measure of provision, one you could never engineer by your own strength, is being released into your life. You know the weight of waiting. You've seen seasons where effort produced no fruit, where prayers seemed to hit the ceiling. But in that hidden time, God was shaping something in you. Waiting seasons are not wasted seasons. They are preparation grounds. The soil of your soul was being enriched. The roots of your faith were being strengthened, so that when the blessing finally arrived, it would not crush you, but carry you forward. Let me paint you a picture. A chosen one once walked through years of scarcity. He worked long hours, saw little return, and nearly gave up. Yet every night, he whispered, "God, I trust you even when I don't see." Then suddenly, in what seemed like a single breath, contracts opened, debt dissolved, and resources poured in from directions he never expected. He later said, "I thought I was buried, but I was really planted." That's the story many will soon tell about you. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 37, verse 19. In times of disaster, they will not wither. In days of famine, they will enjoy plenty. That word is for you, chosen one. The famine you endured did not destroy you, it qualified you. The disaster that tried to take you out only proved that your foundation was stronger than the storm. And now, days of plenty are being announced over your life. Imagine standing in front of a dam. Behind it, waters have been building for years, drop by drop. The reservoir filled, unseen, unstoppable. Then, in a single moment, the barrier breaks, and what was once held back comes rushing forth with unstoppable force. That's what heaven's provision is about to look like in your world. Sudden, overwhelming, undeniable. But you must prepare your heart. Too many people miss their blessing because they cannot believe it belongs to them. Fear whispers, "Not you, not now," but faith shouts, "Yes, you, and yes." Now, which voice will you obey? The vault is opening, but it responds to faith, not doubt. Chosen one, hear me. Your identity carries authority. You are not here to scrape by. You are marked to prosper, not for vanity, but for impact. Your hands will hold resources that will bless others, and your story will become proof that God still provides in ways that shock the natural mind. I invite you to act in faith. If you feel this word resonates in the depths of your being, don't keep it silent. Share this message so another weary chosen one might find hope. Press like if it ignites something within you. Subscribe, because more prophetic releases are coming for those who stay aligned with this flow. And as a prophetic seal over this first step into your new season, type the number 777 inches, the comments, right now. It is a declaration that you align with heaven's perfection, that the cycle of lack is broken, and that abundance has found its way to your door. Chosen one, your strength has not been wasted. Your waiting has not been in vain. The waters are rising. The dam is breaking, and you are about to step into more than enough. This is the beginning. Chosen one. Let this settle deeply within you. Your journey is shifting from survival to overflow. You will look back at the nights of scarcity and realize they were only the setup for this moment. What seemed like unanswered prayers were really God aligning the right people, the right timing, and the right resources to collide at once. You are stepping into a testimony that others will marvel at, and it will point them to the faithfulness of God. Do not shrink back when the blessings begin to flow. Stand boldly, lift your head, and remember, you are not receiving this just for yourself. You are a vessel. Through your increase, others will be lifted, families will be restored, and hope will spread. That is the true power of being chosen. Your cup runs over so that others may drink. So, breathe deep. Open your hands wide. Let faith rise above fear. The days of famine are behind you, and the days of plenty have begun. Heaven has spoken, and nothing can reverse it. Step forward. This is your inheritance. Chosen one. Let us go deeper into what is unfolding. You have heard whispers about sudden money, shocking provision, unexpected deposits, and miraculous opportunities. But what you must understand is this: heaven does not operate by accident. There are spiritual mechanics at work, unseen gears turning, divine currents flowing that bring wealth into the hands of those God appoints. Think of it this way: in the natural, money moves through systems, banks, contracts, wages, exchanges. In the spirit, money also moves through systems: favor, alignment, obedience, and divine timing. You are standing in the intersection where these two realms meet. That is why it feels so sudden. It is not that God just decided today, it is that the alignment has reached maturity. Seeds that were planted long ago are finally ready to break the surface. Remember Joseph in Egypt. For years, he was overlooked, betrayed, and even imprisoned. But the whole time, God was setting up a divine transfer. In one day, Joseph was lifted from prison to the palace, entrusted with resources that would feed nations. What happened was not random. It was a divine deposit of wealth into the hands of a chosen vessel. You, too, are being positioned as a steward, not just a receiver. The Word of God declares in the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 22, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth, without painful toil for it." This is the distinction. Anyone can chase money, but chosen ones attract it by walking in covenant. Money gained by striving and scheming slips quickly away, but money that comes as blessing carries peace with it. That is what is coming to you, not wealth that drains, but wealth that sustains. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who lived paycheck to paycheck, constantly anxious about bills. He tried every strategy, worked double shifts, yet nothing seemed to break the cycle. Then one night, he dreamed he was standing under a waterfall. The next week, out of nowhere, he received an inheritance from a relative he barely knew, more than the amount itself. It was the timing. It came exactly when he was about to lose everything. He later said, "It wasn't the money that changed me, it was knowing God saw me." That's the mystery of the divine deposit. When the resources arrive, it's not just about your needs being met. It's about heaven proving that you are seen, known, and chosen. The money is a sign, but the true gift is the revelation that you are not forgotten. Consider this: when the Israelites left Egypt, they did not leave empty-handed. After centuries of slavery, God commanded the Egyptians to hand over silver, gold, and garments. What had been withheld was suddenly released. The same principle applies now. Years of labor may have left you with little to show, but God has a way of balancing scales. The release will be shocking because it does not come from where you expect. Picture a river blocked by fallen trees. For years, the waters build pressure behind the barrier, yet nothing flows forward. Then, one branch moves, another shifts, and suddenly the river bursts free with unstoppable force. That is what's happening in your life. Unseen obstacles are being removed, and what was always yours is now flowing toward you. Do not think small. This is not just about covering your next bill or getting by. This is about positioning you for impact. When divine deposits arrive, they are often larger than expected because they carry assignment. The provision is connected to purpose. God entrusts you with more, so you can do more. That is why it feels weighty, because it is not just for survival, but for stewardship. You may have noticed hints already: strange coincidences, unexpected favor, conversations that open doors. Pay attention. These are not random. They are early signals that the divine deposit is moving closer. Each sign is like the tremor before an earthquake, the breeze before a storm. And remember this: abundance without wisdom is dangerous. That is why God has allowed you to walk through lean seasons first. Scarcity taught you discipline. Waiting taught you patience. Rejection taught you discernment. Now, with those lessons secured, you can carry wealth without it carrying you. Chosen one. The deposit is on its way. The mechanics of heaven are already in motion. Trust the process. Walk with expectancy, not anxiety. For what is written still stands true: the blessing of the Lord enriches, and sorrow does not come with it. Chosen one. You need to hear this. Your identity is not common. You are not a background character in life's story. You are written as a main vessel in God's unfolding narrative. Everything about you, the trials, the pain, the resilience, has been forming a foundation strong enough to carry blessings that would crush others. This is why you are different. Why you often felt misunderstood. Why certain rooms could not contain you. When you understand who you are, you also understand why abundance seeks you. It is not because you are more deserving than others. It is because your calling requires more. The resources are drawn to your assignment. Just as a river bends toward the ocean, provision bends toward purpose. And your purpose is not small. It stretches beyond your own survival into generational impact. Look back at your life. The very places where others counted you out became the places where your identity was forged. Every rejection whispered to you, "You are not enough." But heaven shouted louder, "You are chosen." Those scars are not disqualifications. They are proof of survival. They mark you as one who can carry weight without collapsing. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 7, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all surpassing power is from God and not from us." This treasure is already within you, waiting to be revealed through divine provision. You may look fragile like clay, but inside you is immeasurable strength. That strength is why money, opportunities, and blessings are being drawn toward you. not because of appearance, but because of substance. Consider a seed once more. To the eye, it looks insignificant, just a shell, yet inside it carries forests. The world looks at the shell and dismisses it. Heaven looks at the inside and invests in it. That is you, chosen one. People may have underestimated your exterior, but heaven knows the potential inside. That is why resources are being delivered. But here is the critical piece. Identity activates authority. If you doubt who you are, you will hesitate to claim what belongs to you. If you fully embrace your identity, you step boldly into spaces others would fear to enter. The divine deposit flows not to the timid, but to the convinced. Let me tell you about a chosen one who discovered this truth. She spent years undervaluing herself, settling for less, believing she was small. But one day, she received a word that shook her spirit. You are the crown, not the dust. From that moment, she began to carry herself differently. Strangely, opportunities multiplied. Clients found her. Partnerships opened. She realized that it wasn't luck, it was alignment with her true identity. You, too, must walk in that revelation. Provision will not make you chosen, you are already chosen. And that is why provision is coming. And now, I want you to seal this truth with a simple act. Write these 3 words in the comments. Vault now open. This is more than a phrase. It is a declaration that the hidden treasury of heaven, long kept sealed, is opening specifically for you. When you write it, you align with the moment in the spirit where locks break, doors swing wide, and provision rushes forward. Chosen one. Remember this, your identity is not fragile. It is fortified. You are not overlooked. You are appointed. You are not empty. You carry treasure. And soon, the world will see what heaven already knew. You are chosen to prosper. Chosen one. Let me explain why declaring vault now open is not just symbolic but deeply spiritual. A vault represents something hidden, secured, and often inaccessible. For years, you may have felt like your blessings were locked away, visible in your dreams, but untouchable in your reality. That phrase is you agreeing with heaven that the seal is broken, that what was once delayed is now delivered. It is not empty words, it is alignment. When you say it, you are doing more than speaking into the air. You are echoing the authority God already placed in you. Think of Joshua marching around Jericho. The walls did not fall because of noise alone. They fell because obedience and faith combined. Your words work the same way. They shake invisible barriers until the breakthrough manifests in the physical. Do not underestimate the power of such simple obedience. Many ignore these prophetic acts, thinking they are too small to matter. But small hinges swing wide gates. A single declaration, spoken in faith, can release years of held-back blessings. That is why your vault opens now, not tomorrow, not someday, but in this very season. Step into it boldly. Chosen one. What was hidden is being revealed. Chosen one. There comes a moment when you realize that what is happening around you is far bigger than coincidence. That moment is now. You are living through something that carries the weight of divine design. The shifts you feel, the stirring in your spirit, the sudden changes in atmosphere, all of it points to one truth. This is more than luck. It is heaven's orchestration. The danger is subtle. Many people misinterpret these divine signs as random fortune. They label it as timing, luck, or good breaks. But if you treat the sacred as ordinary, you risk losing the miracle before it matures. Delay is costly. Hesitation is dangerous. And blindness to divine signals can cause what should be harvest to wither on the vine. That is why I must speak to you now with clarity. This is not the hour to sleep, to procrastinate, or to reason away the supernatural. Consider the story of Esther. She was placed in the palace not by chance, but for a specific moment to deliver her people. If she had hesitated, if she had dismissed her placement as random fortune, the opportunity could have passed. Yet her obedience aligned with heaven's timing, and an entire nation was preserved. In the same way, your positioning is purposeful. The opportunities circling you now are not casual, they are critical. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. This promise holds more weight when you remember it was given during a time of exile. Even when the people felt abandoned, God was declaring intention. Likewise, in seasons when you thought you were overlooked, heaven was quietly weaving plans that would not just sustain you, but prosper you. Think about the inner tension you've been carrying, the feeling of standing at the edge of something immense, yet not fully seeing it. That tension is not anxiety, it is spiritual awakening. It is the trembling of the earth before the quake, the pressure in the air before the storm breaks. Do not confuse this holy tension with fear. It is heaven alerting you that a shift is imminent. Imagine a traveler walking through a dense forest. The path looks endless, the shadows thick, and doubt whispers that he is lost. Then, just ahead, a thin line of light breaks through the trees. Though he cannot yet see the clearing, the light is proof that it exists. That is where you are now. The forest is thinning, and the first rays of provision are breaking through. But here is where the urgency lies. If the traveler ignores the light and turns back, he forfeits the clearing. Many have done the same in the spirit, turning back at the brink of breakthrough because the wait felt too long or the pressure too heavy. You must not. You are too close to let go now. There are 3 signs that confirm this is not coincidence. First, alignment, conversations, opportunities, and even delays are lining up in ways that are too precise to be random. Second, resistance. The enemy does not fight what does not threaten him. The warfare around you proves the weight of what is coming. Third, confirmation. Words, scriptures, and signs repeat themselves in your life, as if heaven is amplifying the message, so you do not miss it. Do not dismiss these as accidents. Each is heaven's fingerprint on your journey. And yet, there is warning in this. If you delay, if you shrink back, mercy does not always extend forever. The Apostle Paul once wrote about a people whom God gave over to their own desires because they ignored repeated warnings. That is not what heaven desires for you. But it is why urgency is pressed upon your spirit, because delay risks blindness. Think of it as a door swinging open in a hallway. It does not remain open forever. There is a window of grace, and if you walk through it, new rooms of destiny unfold. But if you linger too long, the door may close, and the opportunity passes. This moment you are living in is such a door. Chosen one. Let this sink deep into your spirit. Heaven has orchestrated this alignment. The timing is intentional. The provision is prepared. And the signals are everywhere. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. This is the moment that calls for recognition, for faith, for alertness, for the plans spoken over you are not vague promises, they are precise, divine strategies. And now, as they begin to unfold, you must see them for what they are, evidence that you are chosen, and that your time of breakthrough is here. Chosen one. It is time we speak about what has kept many from stepping into the full flow of blessing. It is not that God has withheld from you. He is generous by nature. It is that chains, both seen and unseen, have wrapped around your hands and your heart. Some of these chains were forged by fear, some by doubt, some by past wounds, and some by the silent belief that you are not worthy to prosper. But hear this, you were never meant to walk through life shackled. Every chain that bound you was temporary, and every limitation you felt was meant to be broken. Imagine a bird born with wings, but raised inside a cage. It does not even know it was designed for flight. That has been your story, carrying wings, yet feeling confined. But today, the cage is opening, and the sky is calling. The Word of God declares in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 15, "The Spirit you received does not make you slaves, so that you live in fear again. Rather, the Spirit you received brought about your adoption to sonship, and by him we cry, Abba, Father." And this verse is a reminder that chains are not your inheritance. Fear is not your master. You were adopted into freedom. And freedom is the environment where blessings multiply. Look back over your life and notice the patterns. Every time a blessing came close, something pushed it away. Either unexpected bills drained it, people around you discouraged you, or your own mind told you it was too good to be true. These are not coincidences, they are evidence of resistance. But every resistance can be broken, and the moment you see it for what it is, you reclaim your authority. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who always lived just above empty. Every time he saved a little, an emergency consumed it. He thought it was just bad luck. But then he realized it was more. It was a cycle. One day, he prayed, "God, break every cycle of lack in my life." Within weeks, doors opened. Not only did he receive resources, but for the first time in years, nothing came to drain them away. He later said, "The chains fell, and the flow finally stayed." Chains do not break on their own. They break when you confront them. Some chains are spiritual, others are emotional, and some are even practical habits. But all can be shattered under the weight of truth. And here is where I want to speak to your heart. Just as you are receiving this word, there are countless others wandering, confused, bound by chains, and unaware of their calling. This space, this voice, this message, it exists to find them. But to continue reaching them, the flow must be sustained. Think of it like this. When you light a lantern in the dark, it shines for everyone around. But oil must continually be poured in, or the flame flickers out. In the same way, messages like these are lanterns. Every time you share, every time you support, You are pouring oil into the flame so that it can shine brighter and reach farther. This is why I humbly invite you, if your heart feels stirred, to partner in this work, not out of pressure, not as a condition, but as an act of agreement, by donating, by sowing into this ground. You are not paying for blessings. You are adding oil to the lantern so others, lost in the dark, can see the light you are now experiencing. If you cannot give, do not feel heavy. Your prayers and your presence here are already gifts. But if you can, even a small seed, know this, your act is multiplied. It turns into a ripple reaching thousands of chosen ones who need to hear that they, too, can be free. And beyond donating, you can also pour oil into the flame by simply liking this word, sharing it with someone who needs hope, and subscribing so you don't miss future releases. These small acts are like sparks carried by the wind. A single spark can set an entire forest alight. Chosen one, freedom is your portion. Chains are breaking even now, but freedom is sweetest when it is shared. You have the chance to not only walk out of the cage yourself, but to help others find the open sky. Imagine an entire flock of birds, once confined, now filling the horizon with wings. That is the vision, and you are part of it. So, let your heart respond as it feels led. Donate if you feel called. Like and share to spread the fire. Subscribe to keep walking with this family of light. And above all, know this truth. Every chain that tried to hold you has already lost its grip. The cage is open, and the sky is waiting. Chosen one, you must understand the power of covenant. Provision is not random. It is bound to agreements made between heaven and earth. When you align with those sacred agreements, what is stored in the unseen realm manifests in your life. The covenant is like a contract signed in eternity, waiting for your yes to release its promises. Think of Abraham. He was promised descendants as numerous as the stars and land overflowing with goodness. That covenant did not depend on chance, but on divine promise. Even when circumstances looked impossible, the covenant spoke louder than his doubt. In the same way, your covenant with God has been whispering promises into your life that your circumstances have tried to silence. The prophet Hosea once cried out in his writings, chapter 2, verse 19, "I will betroth you to me forever. I will betroth you in righteousness and justice, in love and compassion." This is what covenant looks like, unbreakable union, where God's faithfulness outweighs your weakness. It is not about your flawless performance, but about His steadfast commitment. That is why sudden money, unexpected opportunities, and divine deposits are finding you now. They are not rewards for perfection. They are fruits of covenant love. Consider how a river flows. It does not need to be begged or persuaded. It flows naturally because of gravity, because of the pathway carved for it. The covenant works the same way. Once you are aligned, blessing flows not because you force it, but because heaven has carved a pathway toward you. But here is the danger. Many live outside covenant alignment. They chase blessings without remembering the blesser. They want the fruit, but ignore the tree. That is why some receive but cannot keep. They gain wealth but lose peace. They touch prosperity but cannot hold it. Without covenant, provision leaks. With covenant, provision lasts. There was once a woman who prayed for financial breakthrough. She worked tirelessly, yet increase always slipped away. One day, she heard a message about covenant and made a decision. Lord, I will no longer chase money. I will chase you, and trust that everything else will follow. That week, her boss offered her a promotion she hadn't applied for. Later, her debts began to dissolve. She realized that the covenant does not only open doors, it also protects what comes through them. Chosen one. Covenant means you are not left to fend for yourself. It is heaven saying, I will cover you. When storms come, covenant stands as shelter. When needs rise, covenant speaks supply. When enemies whisper, covenant declares victory. Now, imagine this. You are standing under a great archway. Above it are written the words, divine agreement. As you step through, it is as if you move from drought into rain, from scarcity into abundance. Everything looks the same, yet everything feels different. That is what crossing into covenant alignment is like. You step into a flow that never runs dry. And here is where I ask you to act prophetically. If you are ready to step under that archway, to declare that covenant is your covering, I want you to comment this number, 222. This number symbolizes agreement, unity, and divine alignment, like two walking side by side with heaven itself. It is not superstition, it is your declaration that you are stepping fully into covenant flow. By writing it, you are not just typing digits, you are echoing your agreement in the spiritual realm. Just as Joshua set up stones to mark covenant moments, your comment becomes a marker that says, here is where I aligned. And do not take covenant lightly. Chosen one, it is your shield, your assurance, and your unshakable anchor. Everything else may shift, but covenant holds. And because of that, what belongs to you will not miss you. So let the world chase luck and fortune. You will walk in something far stronger, covenant abundance. And when others ask why your life is marked by favor, you will simply say, because I am bound to him, and he is bound to me. And remember this, 222 is not just a number, it is your signature that heaven and earth now walk together with you. Every time you see it, let it remind you that covenant is alive and unbroken. And as you carry this forward, I know that 222 becomes a living reminder of partnership. 2 represents agreement, and when doubled, it amplifies unity. When tripled, it seals divine completion in relationship. Every glance at those numbers will whisper back to you, you are not walking alone. It will remind you that heaven's covenant is not fragile, it is firm, layered, and reinforced. Let that awareness steady your heart, especially when storms come, because your foundation is eternally secured. Chosen one, there is a rhythm to heaven's abundance, and when you learn to walk in it, provision flows naturally. Many think receiving is passive, but in truth, it is an alignment of posture. Just as a radio cannot catch a signal unless it is tuned to the right frequency, your spirit must be tuned to heaven's channel in order to catch what is being released. This alignment is not complicated, but it is intentional. It begins with stillness. In a world filled with constant noise, silence becomes a sanctuary. When you still yourself before God, you create space for whispers of direction, for divine nudges that guide you toward opportunities. Some of the most significant blessings are missed, not because God did not send them, but because the noise drowned out His voice. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 46, verse 10, "Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." To be still is not to be inactive. It is to release striving and lean into trust. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. Once the soil is covered, he does not dig them up each day to check their progress. He trusts the unseen process, waters faithfully, and waits for the harvest. That is alignment, participating without forcing, trusting without panicking. Another key posture is gratitude. Gratitude is like a magnet in the spirit. It pulls blessing closer, multiplies what you already hold, and shifts your focus from lack to abundance. A grateful heart is like fertile soil. It welcomes rain when it falls, rather than resisting it. There was once a woman who, despite little, always spoke thanks. When her cupboards were bare, she said, "Thank you for the meals I have had." When bills loomed, she whispered, "Thank you for the roof over my head." Strangely, doors opened for her in ways she never sought. She discovered that gratitude does not only change the atmosphere, it opens pathways for provision. Discipline is another alignment practice. Many dream of sudden wealth, but wealth without discipline slips away like water through open hands. Discipline is not punishment, it is preparation. It is what teaches your hands to hold without trembling, your heart to manage without fear. Think of it like training a vessel. A clay pot must be hardened by fire before it can carry oil. Without discipline, blessings would crack you. With discipline, they strengthen you. Prayer, too, is vital, not empty words, but genuine dialogue with God. Prayer is alignment of will. It is less about asking for things and more about positioning your heart to say, "Your will, not mine." When your desires mirror His, you discover that provision flows more easily, because you are walking in step with the divine. Even your speech matters. Words carry power. They frame your reality. If you constantly declare lack, you align with scarcity. If you declare abundance, you align with provision. This is why Scripture repeatedly calls us to guard our tongues. Your mouth is not just an outlet, it is a steering wheel. Where your words go, your life follows. Imagine your life as a harp. Each string represents an area: finances, relationships, dreams, health. When one string is out of tune, the melody suffers. But when each string is aligned, the sound is rich and beautiful. That is alignment in the spirit. It is harmony between your inner posture and heaven's flow. Alignment is also about obedience. Sometimes God prompts you to take a step that makes little sense. Call a person, apply for an opportunity, release something you've been clinging to. In obedience, doors open that logic could not predict. Delay often comes not from heaven, but from hesitation. When you obey, you keep pace with heaven's rhythm. There was a man who felt prompted to give away his last $20. It made no sense, but he obeyed. The very next day, someone paid off his overdue rent in full. He later said, "It wasn't the money, it was the alignment that unlocked it." Obedience creates flow. Chosen one. Alignment is not a single act, but a lifestyle. It is daily tuning your spirit, like adjusting sails to catch the wind. When the sails are positioned correctly, the wind does the work. Your task is simply to adjust, to stay sensitive, to remain open. Do not let frustration cause you to misalign. Do not let fear tilt your sails. Trust that the wind is steady, even if invisible. Trust that the river is flowing, even if underground. Your role is to prepare, to align, and to remain ready. For when alignment meets divine timing, the flow cannot be stopped. And in that flow, chosen one is where you will find your sudden provision. Chosen one. Wealth is not given at random. It is entrusted. And before the entrusting comes, the testing. This is a principle woven throughout Scripture and echoed in the stories of countless chosen ones who walked before you. God weighs the heart before he fills the hands. He examines the soil before he sows the seed. What you have endured has not been punishment, but preparation. Think of the wilderness seasons. Israel wandered for 40 years, not because God could not deliver them faster, but because their hearts were unprepared to carry the weight of the promise. They were tested with hunger, tested with thirst, tested with waiting. These trials revealed what was in them. In the same way, the delays and challenges you have faced were tests not to break you, but to refine you. The Apostle James wrote in his letter, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." End of 4. Notice the sequence. Perseverance, then crown. The crown does not come first. The crown is reward for proven faith. The same principle applies to financial blessing. Sudden money without tested character often becomes sudden ruin, but sudden money in tested hands becomes sudden legacy. There was once a man who longed for success. He prayed, he worked, but every door seemed to close. Years later, when the breakthrough finally came, he admitted, "If I had received it earlier, I would have wasted it. The waiting made me wise." That is the hidden purpose of tests. They transform desire into discipline, and discipline into stewardship. Imagine a child given a jar of honey without instruction. The child may spill it, waste it, or eat until sick. But if the child is patiently taught, he learns to savor it, to store it, to share it. Wealth is like honey. It is sweet, but without wisdom, it can harm. Tests are the lessons that teach you how to handle sweetness without being consumed by it. Some of your tests came through lack, learning to stretch little, to manage scarcity. Was not cruelty, it was training. If you can make a little last, you can make much multiply. Some of your tests came through betrayal. Learning who to trust and who not to was painful, but necessary. If you cannot discern people in small matters, you will be vulnerable in greater matters. Others face the test of patience. This may be the hardest of all, waiting while others seem to run ahead. Yet patience trains the heart to anchor itself in God, not in outcomes. Patience refines motives and teaches endurance. Without it, sudden blessing might cause pride instead of humility. There was a woman who shared her testimony of waiting years for debt freedom. She said, "In those years, I learned how to budget, how to save, how to avoid foolish choices. When the breakthrough came, I never returned to chains. Her waiting had become her wisdom, and her wisdom preserved her freedom. Tests also reveal loyalty. When resources are scarce, will you remain faithful, or will you compromise? When opportunities tempt you to cut corners, will you stand firm, or will you surrender integrity? These are not minor trials. They are the very crucible that proves you trustworthy. Imagine gold refined by fire. The heat strips away impurities until only what is pure remains. That is what your trials have been, fires, not to consume you, but to refine you. Each test has burned away fear, pride, impatience, and left behind resilience, humility, and strength. The story of Joseph echoes here again. Before the palace, there was the pit. Before the crown, there were chains. Achstage tested him. Would he give up in the pit? Would he compromise in Potiphar's house? Would he grow bitter in prison? At each turn, his response proved him ready. And when the moment came, the nation's wealth could safely be placed in his hands. Chosen one. Reflect on your own tests. See them not as wasted pain, but as holy preparation. The hunger taught you gratitude. The loneliness taught you discernment. The delay taught you trust. The betrayal taught you boundaries. Each test carved capacity within you to hold what is coming. Do not despise the testing ground. It is the forge of destiny. The very fact that you are still standing is proof that you have not failed, but passed. You endured. And endurance is heaven's certification. Now, as the divine deposit draws near, rest in this truth. You have been tested, and you are found trustworthy. The weight of wealth will not crush you, because you carry the strength of trials within you. What once looked like delay has been revealed as preparation. And that preparation is why sudden provision will remain, not just arrive. Chosen one. There is a language that heaven responds to, not the language of complaint, not the language of fear, but the language of faith. Words are not empty. They are carriers of power. What you speak in the unseen echoes in the spirit, shaping the atmosphere around you and calling forth outcomes that align with your declarations. Scripture says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." That is not poetic exaggeration, it is spiritual law. The same way seeds produce after their kind, words produce after their kind. Speak fear, and you harvest anxiety. Speak lack, and you harvest scarcity. But speak life, and you reap abundance. Speak increase, and you attract provision. Imagine your words as keys. Every sentence you release either locks or unlocks doors in the spirit. A negative declaration locks opportunities, while a faith-filled declaration swings them wide open. Many people do not realize they are carrying a ring of keys in their mouths every day, using them carelessly. But you, chosen one, must learn to use them intentionally. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who constantly declared, "Nothing good ever happens to me." Strangely, even when opportunities knocked, something always went wrong. Later, when he learned the principle of prophetic language, he changed his confession. Instead of declaring defeat, he began to say, "Good things chase me down." Within months, his life shifted. What changed? His words. The atmosphere around him responded to a new language. You have this same authority. Heaven has already promised provision. But your words are the bridge that connects the unseen to the seen. The divine deposit is flowing, but it requires agreement from your lips. Think of rain falling on parched land. If the soil is cracked and hard, the water runs off without soaking in. But if the soil is prepared and open, the rain seeps deep and produces life. Your words prepare the soil of your spirit. They either harden it with doubt or open it with faith. This is why declarations are not rituals, they are alignment. When you say, "I receive abundance," you are not trying to convince God. You are convincing your own soul to align with what heaven is already releasing. Chosen one. I want you to practice this now, with a declaration that seals this truth. Write these 3 words in the comments. Increase flows here. Ein. Why this phrase? Because it does more than request it, commands alignment. It is not begging, it is claiming. It is short, but in those 3 words you are saying, I am the vessel. My life is the landing place. The flow is not for another season, not for another person. It is here, now. And as you write it, imagine rivers breaking through dams, flooding into dry places. Let this declaration become the sound that welcomes the current of heaven into your life. Never forget, your words are not casual. They are tools. They are keys. They are rivers. Guard them, sharpen them, and let them carry only what you want to see, multiplied, because the harvest of your tomorrow begins with the language you speak today. So, speak boldly, declare with authority, and let your words become the melody that pulls abundance into your reality. Chosen one. Let me take this deeper. When you wrote, "Increase flows here," you did more than leave a comment. You made a covenant between your mouth and your destiny. That phrase is a spiritual seed. Just as a farmer expects a harvest from what he sows, you can expect manifestation from what you declared. Words are invisible, but their fruits are undeniable. Think of Noah building the ark. Every hammer strike was a declaration. Rain is coming, even before the first drop fell. The sound of construction was prophecy in action. In the same way, every time you declare abundance, you are building the framework of your ark, ready for the flood of provision. Your words are the sound of preparation. And here is the beauty. Heaven does not require perfection. But participation. You may not always feel strong, but when your mouth still speaks faith, your spirit realigns. Declarations are not about denying reality. They are about announcing a higher reality. The bank account may show lack, but your words announce overflow. The calendar may look empty, but your declaration announces opportunity. So never despise these short phrases. They are like sparks in dry grass. One spark can set an entire field ablaze. One declaration, spoken in faith, can shift the direction of your whole life. Chosen one. Every open door is an invitation. Opportunities do not come dressed with flashing lights or loud announcements. They often come quietly, like a gentle knock on the door of your heart. What you do in that moment determines whether the door swings wide or slowly shuts again. This is the strategy of heaven. He places you in front of doors to test whether you will recognize them, whether you will step forward, whether you will trust him enough to walk through. Picture this, a hallway lined with doors, some old and scarred, others shining with new paint. You walk through, wondering which ones are for you. Suddenly, you sense a gentle tug, a divine nudge toward one particular door. It may not look impressive, but as you touch the handle, it swings open into a space filled with light, resources, and opportunities you never imagined. That is how heaven works. What looks ordinary on the outside often hides extraordinary blessing inside. We are reminded in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8. See, I have placed before you an open door no one can shut. I know you have little strength, yet you kept my word and not denied my name. This is your promise, open doors that cannot be shut by anyone. No critic, no enemy, no failure can close what heaven has opened. But you must walk through. And here is the heart of it. Doors do not open endlessly. Some are seasonal, meant to be seized in the moment. If you hesitate too long, the window closes. Think of a sunrise. You cannot freeze the morning light. You must embrace it while it shines. Likewise, the open doors before you are meant to be embraced now. Sometimes, walking through a door feels like leaving comfort behind. Imagine a bird perched at the edge of its nest. The branch feels familiar. The nest feels safe. But the sky beyond is calling to fly. The bird must risk leaving what is comfortable. In the same way, to step into divine opportunity, you must let go of fear and step into the unknown. The nest was preparation. The sky is destiny. This is where your role becomes clear. You cannot control when doors appear, but you can control your readiness. Readiness is built through trust, through prayer, through courage, and yes, through partnership. And this is where I speak to you as family. The very messages you are receiving are open doors in themselves, lanterns guiding your path. But lanterns require oil to keep burning. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, you are pouring oil into this flame. Each act is not just support, it is participation in keeping the light burning for you and for countless others. Think of it as carrying a torch in a relay. Your step keeps the fire alive for the next runner. And for those who feel it in their spirit, there is also the opportunity to donate, not out of pressure, not as a transaction, but as a choice to add fuel to this movement. Imagine planting a tree in a barren field. Every donation is a seed, and as it grows, it offers shade and fruit for generations to come. Never think that what you offer is too small. A single candle may seem insignificant, yet in a dark room, it changes everything. The same is true of your contribution, whether it is a simple like, a quiet share, a faithful subscription, or a heartfelt donation. It carries weight. It says, I want this light to keep shining. No, chosen one. This is not about obligation, it is about opportunity. Just as doors open for you, you can help open doors for others. You are not only a receiver of the flame, but a keeper of it. Together, we ensure that the hallway of doors is lit. So no chosen one walks in darkness again. So today, as you reflect on the open doors before you, also consider the role you play in holding them open for others. If you feel led, donate. If you feel stirred, like and share. If you want to stay in this flow, subscribe. Let it be your voluntary act of saying, I choose to be part of this light. And as you step through the doors God has opened, remember, They lead not just to your blessing, but to your assignment. Beyond every door is not just provision, but purpose. And your willingness to walk through is what turns opportunity into destiny. Chosen one. Let us look at a mystery often overlooked, the strength that multiplies when chosen ones gather in unity. Alone, your light shines brightly, but when joined with others carrying the same fire, the glow becomes a blaze that darkness cannot withstand. Provision is not only individual, it is often magnified within community. Think of the early believers described in the book of Acts. They did not hoard or hide what they had. Instead, they gathered, shared, prayed, and supported one another. And what was the result? There were no needy persons among them. This is a picture of what happens when chosen ones recognize that their abundance is not meant to be isolated, but multiplied in fellowship. The ancient words recorded in Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 24 and 25 remind us, "Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Encouragement is more than kind words. It is fuel. When you remind another, chosen one, of their worth, you are pouring strength into them. When you testify of provision, you ignite faith in their heart that the same God will do it again for them. This is how community becomes a river of abundance. It flows from one to another, never stagnant, always alive. Imagine a single coal taken from a fire, left alone. It grows dim, loses heat, and finally dies out. But when placed back among the others, it ignites again, burning stronger than before. This is what happens when you stay connected with fellow chosen ones. Alone, your flame may flicker. Together, the fire roars. There was once a man who thought he could walk his journey of faith entirely by himself. For years, he struggled with doubt, wrestled with fear, and carried burdens silently. One day, he met a small group of others who also carried faith. At first, he resisted, afraid of being misunderstood. But when he finally opened his heart, he found strength in their prayers, wisdom in their counsel, and joy in their fellowship. He later said, "I never knew how much lighter the load could feel until I carried it together." Chosen one. You were never meant to carry destiny alone. Even Jesus sent his disciples 2 by 2. For there is greater strength in companionship. Provision flows more easily when shared. Vision is clearer when confirmed in community. And the attacks of the enemy are weaker when resisted together. Picture a flock of geese flying in formation. Alone, one bird may tire quickly, but together, they create a pattern where the wind resistance is shared. The lead bird takes the hardest part, then rotates out, and another takes the front. In this way, the entire flock travels farther than any one bird could on its own. That is the beauty of community. It extends your endurance and multiplies your reach, even in financial matters. Unity brings strength. A chosen one may receive sudden provision, but when connected to others, the testimony spreads, faith rises, and soon the community as a whole begins to experience overflow. What begins as one person's breakthrough becomes a chain reaction of abundance. There was a woman who received an unexpected promotion after years of waiting. Instead of keeping it quiet, she shared her story in her circle. Soon, Others began to pray with renewed faith. And within months, multiple people in that same group reported raises, debt cancellations, and unexpected opportunities. Her single spark set the group ablaze. Do not underestimate the power of testimony in community. When you speak of what God has done, you plant seeds of expectation in others, and those seeds often bear fruit in their own lives. Chosen one, you are a carrier of encouragement. Whether you realize it or not, every time you show up for another, you reinforce the truth that no one walks alone. Every prayer whispered for someone else echoes back into your own life. In lifting others, you yourself are lifted. Consider this: abundance that isolates can quickly become emptiness, but abundance that circulates becomes unstoppable flow, like rivers connecting to form an ocean. Chosen ones connected create a body of provision vast enough to change nations. So never think of your journey as solitary. You are part of a greater chorus, a mighty army, a radiant community. And when you stand together, lack loses its grip, fear loses its voice, and hope rises louder than ever. Chosen one, your light matters, but together, our lights change the horizon. Walk not in isolation, but in communion, for in unity, provision is amplified, strength is renewed, and destiny unfolds. Chosen one, when provision flows, it does not come without opposition. For every authentic blessing released from heaven, there are counterfeit offers that try to intercept your path. These counterfeits often look shiny, appealing, even urgent, but they are traps designed to drain rather than deliver. This is why discernment becomes your shield in this season of sudden increase. The prophet Nahum spoke in his writings. Chapter 1, verse 7. The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. Now, this truth is critical. God is your refuge, and trusting him keeps you safe from snares disguised as opportunities. When money or provision comes quickly, so do voices of people with schemes, manipulations, or hidden agendas. Some doors are wide open but lead to pits. Others are narrow but lead to freedom. Without discernment, it is easy to walk into the wrong one. Think of a fisherman's lure. From a distance, it glitters like food, dangling in the water with promises of satisfaction. But beneath it is a hook, sharp and deadly. Many fall for the shine, not realizing the danger attached. In the same way, counterfeit provision often sparkles with promises of quick returns or easy solutions. But what begins as attraction ends as entrapment. Chosen one, you have likely felt this before: a business deal that sounded too good to be true, a friendship that turned manipulative, or an opportunity that drained you more than it blessed you. These were lessons, not losses. They sharpened your ability to tell the difference between gold and glitter, between covenant provision and counterfeit bait. One of the clearest marks of counterfeit is pressure. Real blessing carries peace, but counterfeit blessing carries anxiety. If someone insists, decide now, or the chance will disappear. Pause. Heaven's opportunities do not come with manipulation. They come with clarity, confirmation, and peace. Let me tell you a story. A young man once received an invitation to invest in something that promised incredible returns. The pitch was persuasive: the numbers dazzling, but in his spirit, he felt a quiet unease. He chose to walk away. Even though everyone else rushed in, months later, the scheme collapsed, leaving many in loss. He later said, "I learned that peace is the greatest profit." This is your safeguard. Chosen one, peace. If the provision makes your soul restless, if it feels forced, if it contradicts the principles of integrity, walk away, no matter how appealing it looks. It is not worth the price. Another trap comes through relationships. Not everyone drawn to you in your season of increase is sent by God. Some come like moths to a flame, attracted not to your light, but to what your light provides. Wisdom will teach you to ask, does this person fuel my fire or drain my oil? Imagine a vineyard. When the grapes ripen, not only do harvesters come, but so do thieves. Both enter the vineyard, but one gathers fruit with honor, while the other steals it with greed. You must learn to tell the difference. The vineyard of your life is precious. Guard it well. Chosen one. Protection is not just about avoiding traps. It is about staying anchored in covenant truth. When you know who you are and who your provider is, counterfeits lose their power. They may flash and glitter, but your spirit will see through them. Now, as a prophetic act of alignment, I want you to declare your commitment to discernment. Comment this number, 555. This number symbolizes grace, multiplied grace to see, grace to choose wisely, grace to walk away when necessary. By writing it, you are not inviting fear, you are inviting clarity. You are saying, I will not fall for counterfeits. I will walk in wisdom. And let me explain why this matters. Numbers in Scripture often carried meaning. 7 represented perfection, 12 represented order, and 5 represented grace. By repeating it threefold, you are amplifying the grace you need for this season. Grace to say no, grace to resist pressure, grace to wait for the real while rejecting the fake. So, remember this. Chosen one, every glittering lure is not food. Every wide gate is not freedom. Every loud voice is not truth. But the Spirit within you is faithful to warn, to guide, and to protect. And as you walk in discernment, you will not just avoid traps, you will preserve the abundance that is truly yours. Trust the refuge of God. Lean into His whispers, and let your peace be your compass. For the provision assigned to you will arrive with clarity, not confusion, with blessing, not burden, with joy, not regret. Chosen one, now that you have been warned about counterfeits, let us turn our eyes to the mystery of prophetic numbers. Throughout history, God has used numbers as signs, echoes in creation that reveal His order, His promises, and His movements in the lives of His people. These numbers are not superstition. They are reminders that heaven speaks not only in words, but in patterns, rhythms, and symbols that mark your journey. Consider creation itself. The world was formed in 6 days, and on the 7th, God rested. That 7th day became a rhythm of completion, a prophetic picture of cycles fulfilled. Or think of Israel's 12 tribes, a symbol of order and governance. Numbers, when repeated through Scripture, carry messages larger than arithmetic. They carry prophecy. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. For everything that was written in the past was written to teach us, so that through the endurance taught in the scriptures and the encouragement they provide, we might have hope. End quote. This includes the patterns of numbers. They were not accidents. They were teachings wrapped in symbols, designed to encourage and guide. Imagine numbers as road signs on a long journey. They may look ordinary at first glance, but when you learn to read them, you discover direction, how far you've come, how close you are, where to turn next. Prophetic numbers act the same way. They signal where you are in God's unfolding plan. There was a woman who shared her testimony about seeing the number 11 repeatedly during a difficult season. She later learned it represented transition. Months later, she stepped into a new city, a new role, and a new chapter in her destiny. The number was not magic, it was a marker, reminding her that heaven was preparing change. In another case, a man constantly encountered 40. At first, he thought it was random. Later, he realized it echoed the 40 days Jesus fasted, the 40 years Israel wandered, the 40 days of rain in Noah's story. Each was a period of testing and preparation. That man discovered that his season of waiting was not punishment, it was refining. You may have noticed certain numbers appearing in your life as well, perhaps on clocks, receipts, or even in dreams. Do not dismiss them too quickly. They may be heaven's gentle way of saying, pay attention, something is shifting. And prophetic numbers are often paired with timing. Just as seasons in nature have rhythms, so do spiritual seasons. Planting comes before harvest, pruning before flourishing, silence before song. Numbers help mark those seasons, confirming where you stand and where you are going. Think of them as knots on a rope. As you climb higher, the knots reassure you that progress is real. Even when the top is not yet visible, each number you encounter is a knot, a reminder that you are moving upward, not stuck. But here is the caution: numbers are not to replace God's voice. They are to confirm it. Some chase numbers as though they are fortune tellers, forgetting that the source of prophecy is greater than the sign. Numbers serve the message. They are never the master. Chosen one. Your task is to remain sensitive. When numbers repeat, pause and ask, Lord, what are you saying through this? Sometimes the meaning will come immediately, through scripture or a whisper in your heart. Other times, it will unfold slowly, like a picture coming into focus. There was once a group of believers who began to notice 22 appear often among them. Later, they realized it connected to Isaiah 22:22. I will place on his shoulder the key to the house of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. This became a declaration for their community that new doors were opening and old ones were closing for good. Prophetic numbers are heaven's fingerprints, left along your path, so you know you are not walking blind. They whisper encouragement, they affirm alignment, and they confirm direction. So, chosen one, as you journey forward, do not fear the patterns you see. Learn from them. Let them comfort you when doubt rises, and let them remind you that your life is not random. It is structured, intentional, and guided by a divine hand. For you are not a wanderer lost in chaos. You are a chosen vessel walking a path marked by signs, And prophetic numbers are simply one more way heaven says, I am with you. Keep walking. They are gentle echoes reminding you that destiny is not accidental. Each number is a footprint of heaven on your path, proving that your journey is guided with precision and love. Chosen one. The moment provision begins to flow, something far deeper takes place within you. It is not just the transfer of resources, but the shifting of identity. Wealth in the hands of a chosen one is never about accumulation alone. It is a mantle, a sacred covering, a sign that you are now entrusted as a steward of kingdom work. The resources given to you carry an assignment, and the mantle that rests upon you shapes how you use them. Think of Elijah and Elisha. When Elijah was taken up, his mantle fell, and with it came authority, power, and responsibility. It was not a piece of cloth that made the difference, but what it represented. The mantle symbolized succession, calling, and empowerment. In the same way, when heaven places sudden provision into your life, it is more than money, it is mantle. You are not merely richer, you are commissioned. The Word of God in Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 18 declares, But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so confirms His covenant, which He swore to your ancestors, as it is today. Notice the pattern. Wealth is not random, it is ability given, and it confirms covenant. This means that sudden money in your life is not just for survival, but for confirmation. It is heaven saying, My covenant with you is alive. My promises still stand. My assignment over your life remains. I'm less. Imagine being handed a torch in a dark relay race. The torch is not meant for you to hide in a corner. It is meant to be carried, to light your path, and to ignite faith in those running beside you. That torch is the mantle of provision. It is not the finish line. It is equipment for the journey. There was a woman who once received unexpected inheritance. At first, she saw it as mere relief for her bills. But as she prayed, she felt a stirring. This was not only for her household, but also to bless others. She began to support those in need, fund projects that spread hope, and create opportunities for those overlooked. She later said, I thought I was given money, but I was really given a mantle. And chosen one. This mantle changes how you see yourself. No longer just a survivor, you become a builder. No longer just one receiving help, you become one releasing help. Your wealth becomes a tool of transformation. And the beauty is this: the mantle multiplies. When you use provision with purpose, it grows. When you treat it as assignment, it expands. Imagine a garden entrusted to a caretaker, left neglected. Weeds overtake it, and fruit rots. But when nurtured, watered, and protected, the garden not only produces food, but also seeds for future planting. That is what the financial mantle is. It is a garden in your care, designed to nourish you now and sow into generations to come. But with mantle comes weight. Responsibility is not meant to crush you, but it does require wisdom. The mantle asks questions of your heart. Will you remember where this came from? Will you treat it as sacred, not casual? Will you allow it to bless others, not just yourself? These are not burdens, they are invitations to live above average, to walk as one trusted by heaven. History shows us that those who carried mantles of wealth for God's purposes left legacies that echoed long after their lives. They built schools, fed nations, funded movements, and changed societies. They were not remembered for the size of their bank accounts, but for the impact of their stewardship. The same potential rests on you. Chosen one. Do not shrink back from this. Many fear the mantle, thinking, I am not ready. I am not capable. But remember, the mantle does not come because of your perfection. It comes because of your positioning. Heaven sees in you a vessel that endured tests, passed trials, and can now be trusted. There was once a man who grew up in lack. When he finally came into wealth, he was tempted to hoard it, fearing it might vanish. But one day, he remembered the stories of Joseph, how his abundance was not stored just for himself, but to feed nations in famine. That revelation shifted his mindset. He began to see his resources not as his security, but as his assignment. And in doing so, he stepped fully into the mantle. Chosen one, you are entering that same moment. The mantle of provision is falling upon your life, not to weigh you down, but to lift you up into purpose. You are not a random recipient, you are a chosen steward. And as you carry this mantle, your identity shifts. You are now marked as one who carries wealth with mission, abundance with assignment, prosperity with purpose. Chosen one. Let us speak now of something extraordinary, the way heaven orchestrates logistics when miracles unfold. To the human mind, sudden wealth or unexpected resources appear chaotic, like scattered puzzle pieces. Yet in the spiritual realm, it is order, perfectly timed, deliberately placed, divinely arranged. Think about Joseph again. Years of betrayal, imprisonment, and delay seemed senseless. But when famine struck the nations, every thread of his story wove together into a perfect tapestry. The pit had positioned him for the palace. The betrayal became the bridge. The suffering became the stage. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 19, "And my God will meet all your needs according to his riches in Christ Jesus." Notice, all your needs, not some, not most, and not according to earthly budgets, but according to heaven's riches. This is divine logistics, needs met, gaps filled, timing aligned with glory. Imagine a master weaver at his loom. To the casual eye, the threads crisscross randomly. Some go up, some down, some left, some right. But step back, and you see the pattern intricate, beautiful, flawless. Your life is that tapestry. Sudden provision is not an isolated thread, it is part of a larger design. There was once a chosen one who received a shocking financial breakthrough, a cancelled debt that had burdened her for years. She wept, not just because of relief, but because of the timing. It came the same week. Her child needed urgent medical care. She said later, "I realized it wasn't just money. It was God's timing woven into my life." This is what you must see. Chosen one. The miracle is not only in the provision itself, but in the precise way it arrives just when, just where, just how it is needed. But let us speak honestly. For miracles like these to reach others, the logistics of this very message also require care. Just as a lantern needs oil, as a garden needs water, so too does this work need tending. And here is where your role shines, not as a burden, but as a beautiful invitation. When you like this message, it is as though you place another stone into a bridge, helping others cross from despair into hope. When you share it, you are like a messenger bird carrying a letter across valleys and mountains, delivering light into places this voice alone could never reach. When you subscribe, it is as though you choose to walk the path not once, but continually, like a traveler who decides not just to glimpse the sunrise, but to keep journeying toward the horizon. And for those who feel deeply stirred, there is the gift of donating, not obligation, not pressure, simply an act as natural as planting a seed in fertile soil. Each donation is a seed that grows into sheltering trees, into harvest fields, into wells of refreshment for souls you may never meet. And when you comment, it is like carving your name on a stone at the edge of a river. Long after the waters pass, that mark remains a witness that you stood here, that you believed, that you chose to be part of this story. Think of this entire movement as a vineyard. The vines are strong, the clusters ripening, but the vineyard must be tended. Every act of support, be it a like, a share, a subscription, a heartfelt donation, or a comment, is a hand reaching to prune, water, and nurture. And because of that, the vineyard flourishes. Chosen one, never see this as transaction. It is participation. Just as heaven aligns logistics for your miracle, you align logistics for another's. Together, we create a flow where no one is left in famine, where every chosen one encounters hope. And here is the beauty. What you pour into others never leaves you empty, like rivers that give water and yet remain full. Your giving, your sharing, your encouragement only deepen your own well. You are not diminished by generosity, you are expanded by it. So, reflect on this. You are not only the recipient of miracles, but also the keeper of flow. The logistics of heaven often run through willing hearts on earth, and yours, chosen one, is one of them. If you feel moved, let your response, whether through like, share, comment, subscribe, or donate, become your lantern lit, your seed planted, your bridge stone laid. Each act is a choice of beauty, a declaration that you are part of something larger than yourself. And as you do, remember, the same God weaving your tapestry is weaving others, and sometimes He weaves them together, creating a story of provision and glory far greater than what one life alone could carry. Chosen one, when sudden provision enters your life, the temptation is to treat it as a passing miracle, something to celebrate in the moment, but soon forgotten. Yet true abundance is not meant to be fleeting, it is meant to be embedded, secured, multiplied. This is the work of consolidation, the process of turning breakthrough into lifestyle, of shaping a temporary blessing into a permanent reality. Think of the Israelites as they entered the Promised Land. The manna that had sustained them in the wilderness ceased, because now they had fields to cultivate and cities to inhabit. Their task was no longer survival, but consolidation, transforming gift into structure, abundance into inheritance. The sudden provision of manna taught them God's faithfulness. The ongoing provision of land required stewardship. In the same way, the resources arriving in your life now are not just a relief, they are an invitation to build. We read in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate day and night. Be careful to do all. Then you will prosper. Notice the order: word, meditation, obedience, then prosperity. Success is not random. It is the fruit of alignment with principles. Consolidation, therefore, is not about clinging tightly in fear, but about ordering your steps wisely so that what has been entrusted remains and multiplies. Imagine a farmer who receives a sudden downpour after years of drought. The rain is a miracle, but without channels, reservoir, and healthy soil, much of it runs off unused. The wise farmer builds terraces, digs wells, and plants strategically so that every drop of blessing is preserved. You, too, must build channels, systems of wisdom, discipline, and vision so that your provision does not slip through your fingers. There was once a man who won a large sum of money unexpectedly. For a time, he lived lavishly, giving no thought to tomorrow. Within 2 years, he returned to the same state of lack he had come from. Why? Because he celebrated provision but neglected consolidation. Compare him to another, a woman who received far less in a breakthrough but treated it as seed. She invested carefully, supported others strategically, and built systems that multiplied her small windfall into generational stability. Both received, but only one consolidated. Consolidation begins with vision. Without vision, resources scatter. With vision, they align. Ask yourself, what is the assignment of this blessing? Is it to erase debt, to establish stability, to create opportunities, to invest in future generations? Without a clear purpose, even abundance feels empty. But with vision, even small beginnings grow mighty. Another aspect of consolidation is discipline. Sudden increase tests not just your generosity, but your restraint. Will you steward wisely, or will you let emotions lead? Discipline does not diminish joy, it preserves it. It is like a musician practicing scales, not glamorous, but essential for the symphony to flow. Community also plays a role. Alone, you may misstep. Together, you are guided. Surround yourself with voices of wisdom, mentors who have walked paths of abundance before you, chosen ones who remind you that wealth is not an idol, but a tool. Community becomes the fence around your garden, protecting the harvest from thieves and pests. Spiritual consolidation is just as vital. When provision comes, pride often lurks nearby. Guard your heart. Remember where the blessing came from. Acknowledge the giver more than the gift. This humility anchors abundance in gratitude, ensuring it grows roots instead of being carried away by the winds of arrogance. Imagine a great tree after a storm. The rain nourishes it, but the roots determine whether it stands tall or topples. Your roots, gratitude, humility, prayer are what anchor sudden provision so that it matures into legacy. Chosen one, you are not meant to live in cycles of rise and fall, feast and famine, breakthrough and collapse. You are meant to consolidate glory, to build steadily upon what has been given until your life itself becomes a testimony of stability, growth, and fruitfulness. Look ahead. Consolidation means your children will not start where you started. They will begin where you leave off. It means the work you build will outlast you. The seeds you plant will feed generations. And the name you carry will echo with honor long after your time. So treat this season not as a passing wave, but as a foundation. Preserve what is entrusted. Multiply it with wisdom. Root it with humility. Share it with community. And watch as sudden provision becomes lasting abundance. As breakthrough becomes inheritance. As your story becomes legacy. Chosen one. This journey has led you to a profound truth. Abundance is not merely about resources, it is about identity, destiny, and the crown placed upon your life. You are not walking in random blessings. You are stepping into the fulfillment of promises written long before you drew your first breath. Provision is not the end of your story. It is the crown that confirms your calling. Crowns in Scripture always signify more than decoration. They symbolize authority, victory, and recognition. When Paul wrote of a crown of righteousness, or when James spoke of the crown of life, they were speaking of reward that followed endurance. Your crown is not simply financial increase. It is the sign that you endured testing, walked faithfully, and emerged entrusted with more. The Apostle Peter declared in his first letter, chapter 5, verse 4, "And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away." This crown is eternal, but it manifests even now in the way you carry yourself. Once weighed down by struggle, you now stand upright, marked not by lack, but by provision. The shift is visible, from bowed head to lifted eyes, from empty hands to open palms, ready to give. Imagine a runner crossing the finish line. The crowd roars, the ribbon breaks, and a wreath is placed upon the victor's head. That moment is not about the wreath itself, it is about the proof that the runner endured, resisted fatigue, and did not quit. Your provision is like that crown. It testifies that you persevered, that you refused to give up when everything in you wanted to. There was once a chosen one who endured years of financial struggle, always wondering if breakthrough would ever come. When sudden abundance finally arrived, tears flowed freely. She said, "It's not the money that moves me, it's knowing I was never abandoned." That statement reveals the crown. The provision is evidence of God's faithfulness, a visible sign of an invisible promise kept. Crowns also signify responsibility. A crown is not just worn, it is carried. It calls you to walk with dignity, to rule with wisdom, to act with justice. The crown of provision on your life now invites you into new responsibility, to bless, to steward, to expand the kingdom's influence. It is not a heavy burden, but a holy honor. Think of a tree crowned with fruit. The branches bow slightly under the weight, but the sight of ripening fruit declares abundance not just for the tree, but for all who come to eat. Your life crowned with provision will feed many, not just your household, but others who hunger for hope, encouragement, and opportunity. The shift is complete. You are no longer one crying for bread, you are one carrying baskets. You are no longer one shut out of opportunity, you are one opening doors. You are no longer overlooked, you are crowned. This crown is also protection. In ancient times, crowns marked kings and queens, making it clear to all who they were. To attack someone wearing a crown was to declare war on the authority who gave it. In the same way, when you carry heaven's crown, Opposition may come, but it cannot prevail. You are marked, defended, and shielded by the one who placed it on your head. Chosen one. Let this reality sink deeply. You are crowned with provision, and that crown is a commissioning. It affirms that your survival was not in vain, your tears were not wasted, and your waiting was not empty. You are stepping now not just into blessing, but into identity confirmed. Imagine standing before a mirror, but for the first time, instead of seeing weariness, you see royalty staring back. That is the transformation, not pride, but recognition of who you truly are. You wear a crown not to boast, but to shine so that others may see and be reminded that they, too, are chosen for glory. So walk forward with confidence. Chosen one, the wilderness is behind you. The famine is over. The tests have been passed. And now, with crown upon your head and provision in your hands, you are commissioned to live as one fully aligned with heaven's plan. Chosen one. Never forget, the crown is not fragile. It will not slip. It will not fade. It will not be stolen. It rests upon you as a seal of heaven's trust. Wear it with humility. Walk with authority. And let it remind you daily that you are marked for impact. This is not the end of your journey, but the glorious beginning of a new chapter of destiny. Chosen one. You have walked through every stage of this journey, through waiting, through testing, through warning, through alignment, and now you stand crowned with provision. This script was not mere words. It was a mirror showing you who you are and what you carry. You are chosen, marked, entrusted. The crown upon your head is proof that your story is not finished, but flourishing. Yet this is not where the flame ends. It is where it spreads. When you like this message, it is like striking a match in the dark, ensuring the flame keeps burning for another soul. When you share it, you are carrying that flame into valleys and into homes where shadows once ruled, delivering light that would otherwise never arrive. When you subscribe, it is as though you decide to walk with this fire consistently, not watching from afar, but joining the journey step by step. And if your heart feels stirred, consider the quiet beauty of sowing. When you donate, it is like planting a seed in soil you may never walk upon. One day, that seed becomes a tree, offering fruit and shelter to lives you may never meet. That is legacy, choosing to give not only for yourself, but for those unseen who still need hope. And when you comment, it is like placing your stone into a growing monument of faith. Each word is a marker, saying, I was here, I believe, I choose light, am chosen one. This is your inheritance, but it is also your invitation. Carry the flame, share the light, plant the seed, carve your name in faith, for together we create a movement of chosen ones who rise, shine, and never walk alone.